All right. I think we are ready to start, Mike. Get the rundown.
All right, I'm ready. That's for sure.
Okay. Then let's do this. All right. I'm going to count down and get right into it. Five,
Let's do it.
four, three. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the GamesBeat Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything in the world of video games so you don't have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeffrey Grubb. With me is.
Mike Minotti.
And today's episode, we got news, games, new consoles. We're starting a little bit late here on YouTube here live. Just I had to take care of a baby for a while, but we're good to
Yeah,
go.
we're
Now I can
tired of
take
eating your babies.
well, now I can take care of this baby, this giant man baby here. Hello, Mike.
Wow.
We got a lot to talk about. Lots happened, but it's still mostly about the new consoles. How are you feeling? How do you feel about your new video games?
Oh, I love them, man. It's weird for me because I usually very much like to focus on one game at a time. Especially console games anyway. So the fact that I have like 5 console games right now that I'm kind of like jumping back and forth between is like almost unsettling to me. And the
Yeah.
funniest thing is the one that I'm actually like excited to keep going back to right now that I'll probably finish first is the Kingdom Hearts music game.
Yeah, you seem
That's the one.
you're putting in time with that. Yeah. I'm
I like
I was
it a
surprised.
lot.
I mean, I knew you like Kingdom Hearts, and I know you like music, but I still didn't
I
think
know.
that would be the one that come out on top.
It's funny because like I do like those two things. I like rhythm games, and for some reason I still like refuse to let this game be on my radar that much. I think because of like gen consoles and everything, and just a
Right.
little bit of like cooling on Kingdom Hearts. But like, no, this is great, super
Yeah.
fun. The music in that game is in that series is fantastic, and this is a fun rhythm game. It's like theater rhythm, but maybe a little better. So it's good stuff.
We'll
Get the
we'll
drink open here.
yeah, we'll talk
Sorry,
about all of
should have
that
done that.
and more when we get to games. I think you got a bunch of games to talk about, like you said, because you've been bouncing around
Yeah,
between
yeah.
a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and there hasn't been that much news this week because
Right.
the news is just people, consoles are out.
Right. But I'm sure we'll find some stuff to talk about. MPD happened. We'll get into all of that. First, though, thank you to everybody for joining us. You can get more from me and Mike at GamesBeat.com. I almost said JamesBeat.com. um,
I was about to say a week. It's been a few months.
it's been a few months, yeah. If you have something to share with us, you can email us at gamespluspodcast@venturebeat.com. That's the plus sign. Or get us on Twitter at GamesBeat. Thank you to Carlos Ayin, who's Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube for the use of our theme song. If you're listening to this on the website player widget or you're watching on YouTube, you can get the audio version of the show on Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever pods are caught. And if you like us, rate us wherever you're listening. That helps people find the show. Additionally, you could tell a friend. That helps people find it. That helps people find us as well. Helps us grow. All right, Mike. Yeah, let's just get right into the news. Like you said, PS5, Xbox, those are kinds of the people wanted to get out of the way of those things. So there wasn't a lot of like new announcements or anything like that. But I mean, I guess the story is that those systems are out and they're still hard to get. The people are struggling to find them to buy them.
Yeah, it seems like it. Seems especially like I think for both of them. I guess maybe right now it seems especially for PlayStation 5, maybe just because that one's newer.
Mm-hmm.
But like you're hearing about insane prices on eBay and stuff like that. I know, I've had a lot of just friends ask me like, when am I going to be able to get one? I'm like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
really don't. I don't know if it's like will you be able to get one before Christmas? I don't know. Maybe after, but might be hard for a bit.
My sister asked me about getting an Xbox Series X for her son, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I guess follow Wario64 on Twitter and turn on notifications. And good luck. I mean, what else can I say? Like, there's not much else to be done right now. There's just
Yeah.
these things are hard to get. I think that there's like you'll probably have a bunch more chances, but like I'm at a point where I've given up, and so I've been trying to get a PlayStation 5.
In
Uh,
life or just getting a PlayStation 5?
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, what's the difference at a certain point? If I can't get a PlayStation 5, what's the point of going on? I got to
Mhm.
play games with that dual sense, man. But yeah, I gave up. I'm like, I'm not going to try anymore. And so there's been some people that have been like, hey, I got a couple of these. I'll send it to you and you can just pay me for it. And so someone apparently is going to send me one. And when it gets here, I will pay
Ooh,
them. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. You
there you
know,
go.
Yeah, I'm like that could work out.
Finally be cool like me.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. One thing I like
Yeah.
though,
Well, I mean, I
if
had that situation because I did pre-order one, and then like and then I got one. I didn't know I was gonna get one from Sony, so like I had to like kind of like find and it wasn't very hard to find somebody to buy it off me just for price.
right.
I'm almost kind of feel a little part of me. I know that was the right thing to do, but seeing people selling them for like
Yeah.
$1,500 on eBay, I'm like, but
I
no,
know. I know
couldn't
it's
do it.
hard. It's hard to be like, oh man, I guess that could have been my money, but oh well.
Yeah,
Um,
man. It is
I,
what it-
I one thing I like here is like everyone's blaming like bots and stuff, and I'm sure there's bots out there, but also it's like you hear like the person that's sending me one has like four, and there's a lot of people that like got like two or three, and they only needed one, and it's like you guys. I mean, yeah, bots might be a thing, but you guys realize buying like three or four is also part of the problem. Like you are one person, you want one, and you have 300% more than what you wanted there, and that is denying
it-
three people from being able to order one from a store with free shipping and stuff like that. It's like
well,
it's
yeah,
sort of
because
it's a
everybody
self-fulfilling
always thinks it's
prophecy or whatever.
yeah. People always see like people like think of people like with basements filled with them, and there are people like that. But I mean, there's just a lot of people who are going to get one or two extra because they know
Hmm.
that even that is going to get them hundreds of dollars of profit, maybe $1,000 or so. So
I mean, but even like some people are just like are going to sell them for price, and they just ordered a bunch because they're like, oh, if I need to order from multiple places in case like one
mm,
takes an extra day or something like that. So it's just um it just sort of people creating the traffic jam because they're worried about
right.
the traffic jam.
Right, and if as long as you have the cash up front, it's not like you have to be worried about losing that money. If you had an extra place to buy, you're gonna be able to sell it for at least price.
Oh
So,
yes, yes, yeah. You will have no trouble moving that exactly. So yeah, people aren't worried. And I'm like I'm realizing now like this is why like they don't let you just order a bunch and just like or order like one and then wait for it to be ready before they send it to you. This is why like they have it actually like it's sold out right now. Just come back when we have more. Because first of all, these bots would just buy all of those and
mm,
make sure that there is no available stock for a very long time. Um, but even beyond that, if you're someone who like does like I'm going to buy one everywhere, and then when I get my first one, I'll have that, and then you'll either just cancel or you'll just keep those, and then you'll also just like by happenstance become someone who is now scalping these things, or even if you're selling a price, it's still like slowing down getting these things into people's hands. So that's why they like do that. It makes sense now that I've thought about it. But yeah, I mean, I think it does seem like there's definitely not going to be enough out there this holiday of either of these. And so yeah, I think we're in for a couple months
right.
of people like every time they go in stock, they're gonna sell out immediately, and I'm not
Mm.
surprised by that at all. I
No,
think
I'm
this is
not
what we always
surprised by
expected.
it. Yeah, I think I mean, we always knew that like maybe production would be a problem, and even if not, like video game consoles just kind of sell out and generally now, and the buzz for both of these has been very good. Like, and there's really for a lot of people, there's almost no reason not to upgrade as soon as you can because you're going to be able to play all of your last gen games on these things anyway. There's not going to be a price cut anyway soon. So, what it's kind of a what are you waiting for aspect to it. You get these things right now, you literally just, you throw your Xbox One and your PlayStation 4 out or put it in the basement or something. So yeah, it's like, if you can get one now, and if you think you're ever going to get one within like the next 3 years, like you may as well get it as soon as you can.
Yeah, and yeah, I can't wait to get mine and get it set up, and like I don't have to review the PS5 or anything like that, so maybe I'll hook it up to the computer for a little bit to like do some capture. But really, I'm just like, oh, I want to get this set up on my nice TV and actually
Mhm,
have my future of gaming experience ready to go.
mhm.
But we'll see if mine shows
Are
up
you
in the
gonna
mail.
Are you gonna be one of those people who's gonna like start yelling at everyone on Twitter and at work, like it's current gen now? Don't call them next gen systems. Don't call
Oh
them next
yeah,
gen games.
of
It's
course,
current
yeah.
gen.
That's right. I thought
I
about it,
hate
like
those people.
that one doesn't bother me so much. So I just like someone's like if you have to clarify what you mean when you're saying next gen, it's like okay, I don't care. Like let's just mostly just use the name of the consoles. I think the thing that actually does bother me is in the Xbox interface. If you go to like look up the info about a game and you're trying to figure out if it's like oh is this the Xbox Series X version, it'll say Gen 9 aware or something like that, or Gen 9 something or the other. And it's like the idea that Microsoft is using Gen 9 as in like been nine
That is
generations of
weird.
consoles. I hate it. I hate it so much. That I
That's
really bothers
I've
me.
never. Don't know if I've ever. I can't remember an instance of like one of like the big three actually using those terms, like
Yeah.
Gen 9.
Yeah, it's like
That's
there's
bizarre.
someone one of those people has infiltrated Microsoft and is like making decisions, and I'm like, oh, I don't like it. Um, yeah, it's
I
that
almost would like
bothers.
it better if they called it Gen 4, like,
Right,
like, you're Microsoft, it's not like you were there for all 9 gens.
right, yeah, exactly, yeah, it is weird, and it's confusing too because it's like in casual conversation, even among video game fans, unless even on like message boards, when someone's like, "Oh, like the Gen 7 consoles," I have to go look up and be like, "Okay, which one was Gen
I
7?"
don't know.
It's not a useful term. It is not useful. Just say the name of the
Just
consoles.
just say one of them, just say
Yeah.
PlayStation 2 era, and then
Yes.
I'll know what all the other ones are from then.
So
It's
much more
fine.
useful for everybody, whether you're like
Dude,
casually involved in this or even if you like this is my day job, so yeah, it's still confusing for me. It's just a bad system. I hate people
now
who use it.
for the people who do go by these things, are, like, Wii U and Switch Gen 8 systems, or was Switch the first of the Gen 9 systems? How did that work?
So they were talking about this on, I think the Bombcast earlier this week, and I was listening a little bit. I think they said when they looked it up, they were like, the Wii U and the Switch are Gen 8, and I was like, already this like falls apart. This is already really bad if that's what you mean. And it's like, the Gen 1 consoles are just like there's like 5,000 of them, or like it's like every single like standalone Pong
It's all
machine or
those
something.
shitty, like, yeah,
Yeah,
like, okay, come on. At least be reasonable and start it with the NES, the only thing
yeah,
that matters. And
right. Well, because
because that's what was popular when I was a kid.
but
Everything
it's like
before that's invalidated.
it's pre-crash and post-crash. Like it's like two different eras of gaming. It
It
absolutely
is.
is. Like it's
Yes.
and it's worth delineating. But
It's a
whatever. This is the thing. Like when someone says like, oh, the next gen consoles. If I were to be like, no, it's current gen, that would be a really douchey thing to say. But I'm gonna correct the people that say Gen 9 because they're actually the douchebags.
now I'm only calling it Gen 9 just to get a rise out of you.
It'll work.
Wait, what gen is this? What do you call what gen is this from then?
That's Gen 11, man. That's the real next
Oh, yeah?
gen. Oh man. Okay, yeah. Tell me about this thing. Have you played it? Is it cool?
It's neat. That screen is pretty vibrant, pretty easy to see.
Are you gonna
I mean, you
hack it?
can't really get a sense on my shitty webcam.
Are you
No,
gonna
I'm not
hack it and put
hacking
other
it.
stuff on it?
I don't know, probably not. It's a nice clock. Look, did you know right now it's 6:30?
I had no
Huh,
idea.
it's pretty nice.
No,
But I
thank you
mean,
so
it's
much.
comfortable, it's nice, it looks good. I did get sent this one. How much are these actually?
50 American dollars.
You know, it's, I mean, for a collectible, that seems right. I like the case because it's got like this
Yeah,
when the
yeah.
thing's on it, it's like the Mario thing, but without it, it almost looks like it's just like some old Game& and Watch thing, which it does
Yeah.
have that ball game on there, the first Game& and Watch game too.
I think those things are gonna sell really well. I think they're gonna be the kind of thing that people pick up when if they do go in the stores, they're gonna pick them up. If it like shows up as like when you go to GameStop.com and you're trying to find some gift for like someone who likes games and they have that on the front
Oh, yeah.
page and you see it for $50, you'll be like, oh, that's not bad. That'll make a good
Mhm.
gift. But
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, does
I got
Nintendo make anything that doesn't sell well anymore?
doesn't
Uh
seem like it. Yeah. So
Jeez, Ring Fit Adventure. Like at first, we're like, okay, so that was maybe not a good idea, and then that ended up selling millions of copies eventually. Like, okay, wow, that too.
So yeah, that brings us to the MPD report. I guess, and we could start with Nintendo. Last night, Nintendo sent out a press release saying, "Hey, we're still making a lot of money selling video games." I don't know if you know that. And it definitely the press release definitely had a vibe about it of like, yeah, we know everyone's talking about Xbox and PlayStation, but we've had the number one console in the United States for 23 months in a row, and
Mhm.
we've sold like 22 million units or something like that, maybe 23 million in the United States, and we're gonna keep selling stuff. We think it's gonna do pretty good, and I think that I think a lot of people took it as like, oh, they're maybe they're a little worried about these new consoles coming out, but really the timing was just this is
That's
the
seeing the
day before
MPD
the
scream
MPD.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the MPD. They got the MPD information, so they're sharing that stuff. They don't always do a press release, so the fact that they did a press
no,
release for one of these, it's like okay, so maybe they are
but it
wanting to
was
get this out there.
exceptionally good results, and it was kind of in a month when me and you all summer were kind of crying. What's Nintendo doing this holiday? Or they're slipping. They don't have enough games, and all that stuff. And then here they are in October, totally fine, like
Yeah,
better than fine,
better than
killing
fine.
it. It's
So
like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, we're
so
goobers.
the Switch had the second best October in the history of the MPD reporting. second only to the October 2008 for the Wii. And yeah, it was like something like 735,000 consoles sold or something for the month.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's like October. That is not necessarily in the holiday season yet. That's like before Black Friday deals and stuff. And Nintendo did announce like, oh yeah, we're ready for Black Friday, and it wasn't like a price cut or anything. Like if they're trying to like really compete with the next gen consoles, it's still $300. It's still the bundle is still Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's what they're
Yeah.
doing. They've done that the last 2 years. They're doing it again. At least they are bundling it with the better battery life Switch this time. But still, it's still basically that bundle. And then also they're bundling in 3 months of Nintendo Switch Online, which is $8.
No, it's just like, Nintendo has so many cards they can play too. At the moment they start slipping a bit, like, they could do a bundle that was here's Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, or something like that. And we know at some point there's going to be a Switch Pro, which is just not only is that going to it's going to sell like crazy, but it's going to be a lot of people with the original Switch upgrading, which is going to double down on sales a bit. That's like
Right.
one of the reasons why if anything is ever going to beat the PlayStation 2, I don't even think the Switch can, but maybe it can. It'll be the Switch just because there will be so much interest in people who are going to want to eventually upgrade to like the
Right.
better Switch. So yeah, there's so much room there, and maybe PlayStation 5 and Series X are going to take a little bit of that pie away from them. But again, there's there's only so many of those things available. People are going to be able to find Switches this holiday, probably still.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think just the looking at their behavior, they're not worried. It seems like they have full confidence in what they're offering right now. I do think that they probably will cut the price of the Switch once they do release the Switch Pro, maybe.
Sure.
But I guess it's possible that if the Switch Pro is like if they're like really big on 4K or something, maybe they'll be like that's $400 and just pay us
Oh my
more.
god.
That'd be weird.
I hope it's more of just like an I don't know. I want better specs. I don't want 4K. I
Yeah.
just want the games to run better. I want better frame rates and stuff. I don't. But yeah, that's all another talk about what they might do. Who knows? I mean, 4K is definitely better on a box, right? That's the thing with
Right.
4K.
Yeah.
Throw that on there, people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why
if
we have 4K sunglasses. So
if they like focus on like the technology of like upscaling and stuff like that, there's stuff they can do. But yeah, I agree. I want them to to be able to competently run most of the games that were released on Xbox One maybe and on PS4. And that doesn't even mean like 60 frames per second. Like just if you could run those games at 30 frames per second with fewer compromises, that would be cool. That'd be that. But even that, I'm like just run like if you just run all the games you run so far and run those at 60, that would also be awesome. But either way, whatever they come out with, it's going to be a sales success. It's going to get us all to buy another Switch again. And then there's going to be more Switches in the world. We'll either sell these off to other people or hand them down to little brothers or whatever, and they'll start buying games too. And that's the process working for Nintendo like it always has. Um,
Mhm.
other stuff that happened in NPD, FIFA 21 was number one in the United States. It's the first time a FIFA game is launched as number one on the charts. And it was a really good month. It wasn't like necessarily just that there wasn't a lot of other competition. There wasn't a ton. Watch Dogs Legion launched in October, but at the very end of the month. So I think it was number 3 on the chart, and
Number
then
3. Yeah.
yeah, and
A lot of sports. You got FIFA at 1, you got Madden at 2, NHL at 4,
right, and
and then you got
NHL had its
Mario
best
Kart
launch
Live
since Mario.
at 5.
Right, Mario Kart Live was number 5, and then it was like, and then there were 8 other Nintendo games in the top 20. So again, Nintendo doing very well. I think
Yeah, I mean,
it's
Mario All-Stars, it was 2, and it only dropped to 6.
yeah.
Animal Crossing New Horizons went up from 8 to 7.
Mm.
Star Wars Squadrons had it was 9 last month, it was 8 this month.
Yeah.
So, and same thing with, like, Crash Bandicoot 4, and those are both, like, later games. Last month, Crash Bandicoot 4 was 11th, in October, it was 10th, so, that's good,
Right,
I
and
guess.
yes, I mean, no, I think these are strong numbers for a lot of these games. I think like Star Wars Squadrons is showing that it has legs. I think EA said it's performed better than they thought it would, and I think that's continuing. I think they're
Mm,
demand for a cool Star Wars game is actually pretty high, surprisingly. So it's like, yeah, of course that
yeah.
game's doing well.
Meanwhile,
Yeah,
Avengers from 1 to 14, so that's a bit of a pretty steep drop there. And we've heard from, I think Square Enix even said in their earnings report that it's not performing like they wanted to.
Right.
So, that's something. Tony Hawk 1 plus 2 from 4 to 18. That seems kind of steep, but I guess, that's I don't know. Is that a fan-driven game? Is that something that doesn't have legs like a traditional sports game does, or as like a Nintendo game does? I would have hoped for a little bit better of a hold there.
Yeah, I think so. But it's like, I guess if you're gonna buy Tony, if like you were excited about Tony Hawk, you probably bought it in the first month, and I guess you kind of hope that like you start bringing in younger fans that never played the series before, based on the really uh successful critical reception and like fan reception, and then you would see that would pay off in the following months. But I don't know. That could be the kind of game that does well over the holidays if that word of mouth does end up paying off. But we'll have to
Mhm.
see.
We'll see. Well,
Um,
I mean, now the whole game, like just software wise, the games are going to be so crowded. Like that's going to be such an
yeah,
interesting chart in November because there's just there's so many games came out to kind of to coincide with the console launches, and even like just coming out anyways, like the Kingdom Hearts music game and stuff like that. Like, man, it's crazy.
yeah, it's yeah, I'll be interested to see like where Mario 3D All Stars ends up next month. If it still doesn't drop after all these other games are coming out, that game's going to be massive. And I mean, it seems like it's on a trajectory to like be like one of Nintendo's like 15 million sellers before they stop selling it for whatever reason. Um, but yeah, just going back to Nintendo again real quick before we move on. It's nine games out of the top 20 are Nintendo games, and it's like, okay, yeah, Nintendo's doing very well on Switch. Is anyone else? And it seems like, if you're an indie game, it's all the indie developer, those games continue to do really well. And it's not just the hardware that is selling well. I think Nintendo's on pace to like set a record number for like software sales for a platform as well. Which makes sense. This console is selling almost as good as the Wii, at least as good as the PS4, if not better. And then also, it seems like people are buying a lot of games for it, which is
Mhm.
that's the really impressive thing, because it's like the Wii, yeah, people bought a lot of Wiis. They just didn't buy a lot of games for their Wiis. And this is a completely different story, and that's why Nintendo is in such a strong position. And it's what separates them from Microsoft and even Sony. Like Sony sells a lot of hardware and they sell a lot of games, but they're not selling, like they don't sell quite as many games as Nintendo does. Just on a game by game basis, and overall, and even when you include third parties, it's like Call of Duty kind of closes that gap because a lot of people buy Call of Duty on those systems. But even with that, it's like it seems like software sales are just dominating on Nintendo. So
God, I can't believe it with everything else happening. Like the new Call of Duty is coming out pretty soon. Or did
yep.
it come out today? It came out today. It's out. Ugh. Okay.
Yeah,
Normally, I at
it's
least
already
like,
November 13th. It's already
yeah.
November 13th. Yeah.
Normally, I at least check out the new Call of Duty this year. I'm just like, get the hell away from
Yeah,
me.
I don't have time for you. Um
Not now. Not now, Call of Duty. I know you're the yeah, good. You're the best selling game of the year. I'm sure. Good job. You did it. Here's your
let's go.
plaque.
Let's do some other headlines, and then we'll start talking about some questions, and then some games. Mass Effect Legendary Edition got announced. Mike, where'd that come from?
Whoa, yeah, who would have thought that was ever gonna happen? That's right, that feels like that happened so long ago.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
yeah, that man, yeah, so just like you've been saying, it's not this year, it is happening. I mean, did they say anything else super crazy about it?
I mean, the biggest thing was that they confirmed that they have a team looking at the next Mass Effect game,
Yeah,
like
they did, they just kinda threw that in there. They did the same thing almost with
with Dragon Age. Yeah,
Dragon Age. It feels like they're just announcing, like, "Yeah, we're gonna make one of these, don't worry."
right. That's what it feels like. Yeah, for
You know?
sure.
And it's nuts because I mean, God, BioWare. So the things they are working on right now are these remasters, remaking Anthem or whatever you want to call that,
Right.
a new Dragon Age, and a new Mass Effect. So, geez,
Yep. Yeah, it feels like if that Mass Effect game comes out, it's like how long from today? Like years and years and years. So
before or after Elder Scrolls 6?
after, well, man, no, I don't know.
I
Before.
think that-
Before? I think
no,
before. I'm gonna say
that'll be
before.
it'll be yeah. I'm gonna say after. I'll say after. Well,
Man, we'll
you owe me a
see.
Coke if it comes out
All right,
after.
yeah, fair enough. That's a fair deal. Well, I'll buy you a Coke when we go to Cheesecake Factory whenever the pandemic ends.
Mm.
Um,
It'll be before or after or not Oblivion, Elder
never,
Scrolls 6.
never, yeah. Um, All right, so some other headlines here. I didn't get a chance to put a lot of news together, so I'm just looking at Reddit's top stories of the week for games. Assassin's Creed Valhalla had twice as many players on launch day compared to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Um, I think this Assassin's Creed game is kind of a right place, right time thing, right? It seems like people want one of these games. They like the Viking, like Skyrim almost like setting or God of War like setting, and it's a
Mhm.
big game to play on the new consoles. Uh, and it's getting pretty good buzz. I think I'm enjoying it
Yeah.
when I'm
Oh,
playing it. It seems pretty good. So I
yeah.
think it's just right
It
place,
is
right
fun.
time for this.
It wasn't too long ago that that franchise seemed like it was dying, and they took
Yeah.
1 year off, and all of a sudden started building momentum again, right? So, and it's funny to me because some people talk about this game, they seem to compare it like, "Oh yeah, this is better than Odyssey." I think everybody's if I just went by Twitter, I would think everyone hated Odyssey. I'm like, "You all loved that game
Yeah.
when that came out a couple years ago," but a lot of people like that, and they're kind of brought back on board. But they did a very good job of towing this line of like being pretty similar to that, but also making some concessions to like older Assassin's Creed fans to kind of make them feel like, no, this you'll like this one more than Odyssey and Origins. So
Right.
I think they're bringing in a lot of people that way.
Yeah, it's almost a showpiece because it
Mhm.
looks nice and it runs at 60 frames per second on both of the next gen consoles, and it's like you haven't had that before if you played all your Assassin's Creed games on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One or whatever else before that. Um, you haven't had like a solid 60 frame rate as an option really before. It was always 30 frames per second. So uh, getting that experience, it's just like really smooth and really nice. It's a really great way to play that game and makes you feel like you got your money's worth when you're buying a big expensive new console and you pick that up. You're like, I know what Assassin's Creed is like, and this is significantly better than that. It
Mhm.
really hits home as like, okay, this is a great way to experience this game and kind of makes you feel good about spending that money, which again I think is just helping this game. Um,
Yeah, it's practically a next gen game in a lot of ways, and I know a lot of people who if they're getting a Series X or a PlayStation 5, they're getting Assassin's Creed as like
yes,
maybe their third game, their second game, maybe like almost maybe if you're maybe on Xbox will be your first game. I feel like a lot of PlayStation people they get Spider Man and then that, and then they also have Astro. They're kind of set for like at least a month, right? Like they're
right.
going to be good for a while.
Let's see here. Let's see. PS5 doesn't support 1440p out of the box because they're prioritizing TV, and this is a thing that really shouldn't affect many people.
Yeah, that's one of the,
Because
yeah, it's one of the things everyone seems to act more outraged about than maybe they really should be.
right, and it's like me, I'd be like, well, that bothers me because I have like one of the very few TVs that has 1440p support, but my TV doesn't have HDMI 2.1, so I can't do 4K 120, and I'd like to do 1440p 120. But even then, like I'm like, if I want to do 120, I'll just do 1080p, and it's not going to be that much of a loss. But like most things that we've seen so far with the PlayStation 5, when people speak out and say they want something, and Sony's like, well, we'll look into it, and they've been addressing these things, like they've already talked about USB external USB storage for PS5 games as like cold storage, because people are like, hey, why doesn't that work? They're like, oh, we're looking into it. We'll try to get
Mhm.
that added there, and they're saying the same thing for this. And it seems like I wrote a story about this either earlier this week or last week, where it was just like um, these companies are spending way too much money on these things to not be paying attention to these details. These are
Sure.
this is not the aloof, Sony full of hubris that we got during the PlayStation 3 era. They're definitely confident and maybe they're overlooking some things, but it doesn't feel like they're overlooking anything to the point where they are going to ignore when fans ask for something. They're going to address
Sure.
it, and I think Microsoft, like there hasn't been these sort of things popping up because they have been so worried about appeasing what fans want in every little regard. Both these companies just seem to be on top of their game in responding to any sort of concern. So I think people buying these consoles right now, even if you have an issue, like I know some people are like, oh, the UI just feels like a coat of paint on top of what the PS4 was. It's just going to get better. I have full confidence that they're
Mhm.
just going to keep improving things, and so feel good about buying these systems right now if you can get one, because it seems like ready and willing to spend a lot of money to make sure people continue to like these things, and that's a good place to be with these consoles at the beginning of a
Mhm.
generation for sure. Um, let's see. Capcom reported some sales. Monster Hunter World Iceborne sold 6.6 million copies, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard's at 8.3 million copies. Capcom continues to just be in a really good place with these with these
Yeah, they
games.
certainly seem to be doing well as far as like those. I mean, they could have been a Konami, right? Like that could have happened to them. What happened to Konami, and it didn't. Capcom's kind of figured things out pretty well.
Um, this is something that I was looking at, and I didn't see much of a difference in terms of size of games between Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. And I think it was just them taking time getting certain games out that actually do take advantage of that. But Xbox News, the Twitter account post. This is not a like the official Xbox News account, the fan account. Um, they found that Sea of Thieves is 64% smaller on Series S. Gears 5 is 39% smaller, and Dirt 5 is 23% smaller. So that thing has less storage, but it seems like games are also coming in significantly, taking up a significantly less space. So there is some like breathing room there if you are getting a Series S and you're really worried about that small storage drive. I don't think it's gonna alleviate the problem totally. I think all of these consoles are gonna kind of feel pretty cramped very soon for a lot of people, but it helps, and it's good that they fulfilled that promise at least, or at least it looks like that is something that is true. Um, yeah,
You
I
ready for
don't
some
think it's
questions?
yeah, I think we should probably just get to some questions. Oh, last thing, Deathloop is coming up May 21st, 2021. So that game
What?
got delayed.
Oh, that thing, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yep. But it
Sure.
looks like it's got a date now, May 21st. I think I still just want to play it before I know if I'm excited about that game. I just don't, for some reason, just the trailers, I'm having a hard time like getting sold on it.
Yeah,
So
I don't really care
yep,
about it right now. To be
yep.
honest, maybe I will later.
That's me too. All right, let's get to some questions. First one comes from Lord Beef. Lord Beef on Twitter asks, can you tell us more about versions on PS5? How much storage does it take to have the PS5 and PS4 version of a game? Also curious if Sackboy supports PS4 controls in the PS5 version for additional players, or if I have to run PS4 to do remote play. That's a good question because
That's a good question. I'm guessing if you're running the PlayStation 5 version, I imagine you have to use dual senses. Like that's what they said before, is
I
that you
think
can't
so.
use
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 controller for PlayStation 5 games, which is a bit of a bummer because it's like nobody has four dual sense controllers right now,
Right.
right? It'd
And the
be
game
insane.
runs on PS4. This is just the PS5 version we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
like it should, but I don't think so.
and then I can't. I'm sure there's reasons why some people would want. I guess there's like games that have No, I just thought of the reason. Like Hitman 3 is going to come out and it's going to have VR support. But in order to get the VR support on PlayStation
Mm,
5, you have to have the PlayStation 4 version installed because
so
the
weird.
PlayStation 5 version doesn't have support for PSVR. It's weird. So there's reasons to
That's
have
weird.
a game installed in both the PS4 version and the PS5 version because the PS5 version will probably have some benefits of some sort. Um, I guess I mean, do they seem like they're pretty similar in terms of install sizes? Have you looked at anything like this? Have you
I
had like
haven't
the
looked
PS
at the
version and
install
then the PS5
sizes. I
version?
mean, that whole thing is kind of weird. Like it's bizarre how you like pick between the two sometimes. Like there's like a section where you kind of pick which version of a game you want to run or install, and like a beta version of a game could be included there too, or the PlayStation 4 version. Especially early on, it was weird. Part of it was one point when I got Bug Snacks when they gave us the code. Like you could tell even they were confused by it because like the code we had to download Bug Snacks for PlayStation 4 before we can get the PlayStation 5 version. There is some weirdness there, and it is nice like comparatively, you go to Xbox Series X and you look at the library, and it's just there are the
Yeah.
games, and it'll say like right there very clearly, like this one is optimized for Series X, but whatever.
Yeah, I Microsoft has definitely gone very much the make we're just going to do everything for you. This is a console and we're going to make these decisions for you so you don't have to think about it. Their cloud save system works that way. Their smart delivery works that way. It's yeah, and it's or like, even like quick resume works that way. Like I would think that
Mhm.
with quick resume you would maybe want to have a manager where it's like actually this game I really want to make sure I have that. Sure, I'm playing other stuff before I get back to that, but it's actually the game I'm most interested in right now. I'm just checking out some other stuff in the meantime. Please keep this game in quick resume at all times. That there is no option to do that. They don't want you to like. It's very clear that Microsoft doesn't want you thinking about that sort of stuff. If you are the kind of person that wants to micromanage your gaming experience, there's the PC. I think is kind of what is
Sure,
their philosophy. And I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be a pretty good experience overall for most people. But there's going to be times where I think people do want to weird decisions about how they interact with their games on their console.
Right, and
And
a lot of this weirdness is going to go away in, like, a year or so, well,
yes,
when we stop caring about PlayStation 4 versions of game, or if we do, it'll be games that, like, were are older and never really had a PlayStation 5 version, quote, unquote, anyway, so
right. All right.
this is kind of awkward right now.
Here's a question from Anti Macro, and this is a news story we didn't
Ew.
talk about the the smoking Xbox Series X's. He says he blames it on peer pressure, but my Series X wants to take up vaping, and I'm concerned about the long
No.
term health effects. Any suggestions? Yeah,
Well,
just
I've heard that vaping makes you really cool, though, so
yeah, it's true. Yeah, God, man, the coolest bit. Yeah, my suggestion is like overdo it. Make the Series X smoke an entire case of Jewel Pods. I don't. Is that do they come in cases, Mike? I don't know.
ugh. Are they packs? I don't know.
Yeah, PAX out. Yeah.
It's a gaggle of vapes.
That's right. Yeah, murder of vapes. It's is there anything that's like just more obviously like really dumb than vaping? I'm sorry. Like,
Well,
you know what?
but
If you're trying to quit smoking, that's one thing. But if like you're a kid taking up vaping, I want to just tell all of them that like you look like kind of like a tool. I don't know what your deal is, but
yeah, something it's pretty dumb to scour Twitter just looking for people with broken new systems so you can validate some kind of weird console wars side you've taken, I guess.
yes, that was that whole thing was like yes, that was weird on its own.
Mhm.
Microsoft actually came out and told people, please don't blow vape into your Xbox. And that's good advice because that smoke is not going to be good for any of the components in there.
Yeah,
That's
put
just
it
a
in your
bad.
lungs where it belongs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where, yes, that cherry flavoring in there, let it coat
Mhm.
your precious body
Yes, that's
parts,
good.
not video games. Video games are too precious.
You'll get
Um,
a new lung. You'll get new lungs in 5 years. Gen 10 lungs.
Gen 10 lungs. There you go. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, lungs
Uh,
Series X.
from Darth Burrito on Twitter. Has anything surprised you about launch so far, or is it what you expected coming out of the summer game mess? Any small quality of life features that people are not talking about, but are actually monumentally dope? Um, this is, I mean, it's been what I expected pretty much. I think these consoles, I think that Sony kind of undersold a lot of the stuff. I think it was
Yeah.
very hesitant about its messaging, and I think all the things that we were worried about with Sony weren't worth getting worried about, and they delivered. And I don't think
Yeah,
it's
like we
too
were all
surprising, but
right. We were all scared about backwards compatibility, and it turns out it's completely fine. I
right,
guess my biggest surprise is just how good the PlayStation 5 launch lineup is. Like, you have big games like Miles Morales, Astro's Playroom, Demon's Souls, and you have big third party stuff like Assassin's Creed. You have Bugsnax as the indie thing. You also have Sackboy first party. Like you
yeah,
have to go back pretty far to think about a launch lineup that really compares. I mean, compared to PlayStation 4 with freaking Knack and Killzone, that it's pretty freaking great.
yeah, and it's I think Sony realized from Nintendo that people don't care if they're cross generation. They if you release a game that's cross
Mhm.
generation, they're going to associate it with the next generation. So you hold these games
Right.
back, and even if they're for PS4, hold them back, and then wait for the PS5, and then announce them alongside that. And then even if you say, oh, they go back and they work on the PS4, it's not going to hurt the perception. It's just going to make the PS5 look even better. No one's people want
Right.
to invest in the next gen, and
It
it
is
hasn't hurt them at all.
It is so funny. Like some people are like, "Well, Miles Morales doesn't even count 'cause it's on PlayStation 4." I'm like, dude, like Breath of the Wild launched on the Wii U,
Yes.
and nobody thinks of that as anything but a Switch launch game.
Yep. 100%. And it because it is like we
Mhm.
like you want something to play at launch on your new system. If it works, it works. And, I mean, to me, that's why like Assassin's Creed it counts for both of these systems. It's like it like you didn't listen because you're like you were talking about exclusives, but like having a big awesome third party game like that working as well. Even if it's everywhere, it's like it's still part of this launch experience. And so it's like yeah, there's like a ton of really good games for these consoles right out of the gate, and the first party stuff absolutely puts it over the top. But there's like a pretty solid launch lineup no matter what. It's yeah. But in terms of like small quality of life features that people aren't talking about, no, I think most people like because that's kind of what we've had weeks of
Yeah,
going over these things. We've kind of talked about
right.
everything, but
I mean, the DualSense battery life is better than the PlayStation or the DualShock 4, so that's good.
that's a
It's not like
relief.
it's
Yeah,
not like yeah, it's not like monumentally better, but it's better. Like
anything.
I don't
Yeah,
see it I don't see it ever like dictating my playtime. I can't imagine if I start with a fully charged controller, I'm going to have to like stop after a while because my controller's almost dead.
Yeah, no, my problem with the DualShock 4 is mostly that if I play for an hour and I don't plug it in, the next time I pick it up, it's always dead. And I'm betting that the even if it's the battery life isn't that much better, I'm betting it's not gonna have that leakage where it like loses charge just sitting around. And that
Yeah.
is more important to me because I that's what like the main reason why it's hard for me to play PS4 games because it's just like okay, I gotta go plug this thing in and I gotta go sit
Hmm.
close to the TV because it's the only cord that works with this thing right now is this short one. It's yeah,
Hmm. Fun.
yeah, that's a relief. Let's see, let's get through some more of these. We got about like 20 questions. Let me just kind of pick out some good ones. Uh, from at Taryn Walker, now that you have 8K gaming, can we finally stop talking about old shit like 4K?
Oh my god, how about you love it?
I
You're
hate
so
it so much.
relieved 8K gaming is fine. Now we can start thinking about 16Ks.
You know what
Maybe
though?
not. Let's be reasonable. 15Ks.
Uh, I don't want to be like a hypocrite, but I'm excited to go check out the super sampling of Ori in 6K, running at like down sampling to 4K on Xbox Series X. So
Yeah, I haven't actually launched it since the that patch came out, and move that is kind of good, pretty exciting.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
can finally go beat it.
yeah, yes, and I definitely will. Like that game got so much like got huge performance improvements that we know of, obviously because of the Switch version running at like like a solid 60 frames per second
Mhm.
after it launched with issues. So I'm not too surprised to hear that like oh they've like paid those forward onto like way more powerful consoles and now 6K 60 frames per second. That's wild. Um, yeah. Let's see here. A Game Pass price increase is inevitable, right? This is from at Yarden Angel. What price would you two be comfortable with? Mike, why don't you start? Because like I know that we're in a very specific situation where we still get a lot of games, even if we didn't
Oh
have
my
Game Pass,
god.
we'd probably still get most of those. But try to think like if you didn't have this
I
job.
mean, first off, I don't know if I don't know. Is it inevitable a price increase? I don't know if I totally buy that. If it is inevitable, not for at least a year, because they still want people to just buy the system and get that like immediately. Like they want that to be like a gimme purchase, right? They want it to be almost no question. You own an Xbox system, you better have Game Pass. So, at what point does that become unfeasible? Gosh, I'm showing my game journalism privilege here, but how much does Game Pass actually cost these days?
So Game Pass is $10 a month, but if you want the ultimate that has like the cloud streaming and Xbox Live included, it's $15. Not and EA Game Pass or yeah, EA Play as
Yeah,
well is included in that as well. Um,
15.
it to me like that $15 is already like that was already kind of the price increase, and I think actually
Yeah.
if they go in any direction, I think first, and I know this is I hate even bringing this up because there's always every day a couple people who are like, when are they getting rid of Xbox Live Gold for the paywall? Because I brought that up a few months ago, and there's people who are just obsessed with this, and I'm like, I know that there was plans, there was talks. It was like on a roadmap somewhere, and that they were considering it. And to me, it was like when Halo comes out and Halo's going to be free to play, you have to
Oof.
make it. You have to. It's a crossroads right there. You probably have to make a decision right there. Is Halo going to be free to play and it's going to be on PC free to play. But if you want to play it on console, well, actually, you still have to pay Xbox Live Gold. So to me, it was like obvious they were definitely going to get rid of it for free games, free to play games. They still haven't done that. So to me, it still seems like Halo is the line where that they draw there. And when you start taking away like part of that Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is like, oh, you get Xbox Live Gold included. Um, and to me, if you start saying, well, everyone's going to be getting into that stuff, whether or not they have Xbox Live Gold or Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, it makes that $15 feel like, oh, well, I'm paying extra just so I can get this. And I think that's why they're adding stuff like EA Game Pass or EA Play into there to like sweeten the pot. So then when they take something like that away, or it feels like they're taking something away, you're more okay with it. So I think they need to like get over that hump first. And then once they get past that,
Yeah.
in a year or two, maybe they'll consider a price increase. And I get why people think it's inevitable. But
Like $20 a month for a service.
yeah,
Like, man, people aren't used for that for like anything.
right. And
That's kind of a
it's not
lot.
like Netflix has been steadily raising its price for years. But it's not exactly like Netflix. Microsoft can give you Game Pass, but they are still going to be selling a lot of games in stores. They're still going to be selling a lot
Mhm.
of games, on PC. Like their games do really well on Steam. Uh, and then, on top of that, like they still get like a 30% cut of all of the third party like microtransactions that are sold on FIFA 21 gets released and it's a huge success. Every single microtransaction made in FIFA on an Xbox console, Microsoft gets a piece of that. And that's, Netflix doesn't have anything like that. So
Mm-mm.
I think Game Pass can exist in this silo as is at these prices for quite some time. Um, and especially if like their goal is to keep it at like around 100, 150, 200 games on the service, and then plus like EA Play or something like that for a while. I think that is very sustainable for them. I don't think they're sweating it at all. I don't think they're like counting the days on the calendar before they can mark up the price. I don't think that's how it's working right now. Oh god, no. I From at Marky Marg to, can we get some Takoto recorder playing? I hope he doesn't even have it
Man,
handy.
I
Maybe go
don't.
pl-
I
you
think
could
didn't someone else? That's no. Oh man, I can go grab it.
maybe you could
I'll be
play
right
us
back.
out or something. Yeah. Oh god damn it. Is Mike going to play Dragon Quest 9? It's good. I'll ask him when he gets back. Um any chance of a new Rock Band for next gen consoles? This is from Paul PCED Feld. Oh god damn it. Thanks a lot, James. It's too good. We're gonna get a copyright strike.
Hi. Gotta do it for
It's
the fans.
it's too beautiful. It was too painful for me because it's beauty.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um, so,
but
yeah, go ahead.
Dragon Quest. Yeah, I beat Dragon Quest 5 this week. And now I'm on to Dragon Quest 3, which has a port on Switch. So that's when I also bought Dragon Quest 7, like the physical 3DS version. With everything happening now, I'm like, this is a good time to spend $60 on Dragon Quest 7 for the 3DS. So I did that.
That's yeah. I also like Dragon Quest 9, so I do want to know. Are you gonna play it?
I actually played some of that back when it came out before I actually liked Dragon Quest, and I actually liked it, fine. I kind of, if I can find my copy, I can. Uh, I will. There's ones I want to get to first. I want to play 7. I want to play 8 first. Maybe even 4 before 9. Maybe not. I'll get to it at some point. I kind of want to get through this whole series at some point.
From at on gags. What's most likely to happen first? Nintendo Switch Pro model or Xbox Game Pass on the Switch?
Oh, Pro model
Pro
Switch.
model. Pro model Switch.
Microsoft's even kind of said some things that makes it seem like they're backing off a little bit on this, like, this maybe not backing off, but that the Switch support is going no further than Cuphead, Ori. I mean, if Battletoads doesn't show up on the Switch, which seems like that should be a game that comes out on the Switch, then is anything else ever going to go on there? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. See. Oh, this one is one I'm curious about too because I know that there's like mode switching in some of these backwards compatible games on PS5. This is from Furious KJ. Which modes do I need to turn on in God of War and Ghost of Tsushima to get 4K 60? It seems very unclear. Seems like maybe the high resolution mode is what he says. Have you tried these
It's
games?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for everything. Honestly, a lot of the time, there's a lot of games where it seems like the fidelity mode, or whatever you want to call it, is still capped at like a 30 frames per second or something like that. Or so I've almost been going performance mode in general because at least I get the good frame rate. And I again, I'm not counting pixel lines or anything. I don't know how
Yeah.
many Ks there are, but it looks pretty sharp to me. So I don't know if it really is supporting 4K or what. But I mean, I just know that in general, from everything I've done, performance modes seem to look a lot better than the fidelity modes. Even on like the new games, like I'm shocked that Demon Souls even has its fidelity mode or whatever they call it. Like it doesn't even look like it's at 30 frames per second or whatever it is. And if there's any graphical improvements, it's impossible to tell. And it looks so good in performance mode, 60 frames per second. So it's bizarre. It's not like at least Spider-Man, you turn on that fidelity
Right.
mode and you get like the really cool like ray tracing showcase. I don't, and maybe there's ray tracing in Demon's Souls. I don't know, but I don't get it.
Let's see. Did both of you get the best new console ordered? The Game and Watch, and yeah, Mike got his
Yeah,
delivered, and mine's coming from
yeah.
Amazon.co.uk. It'll be here in a week. Man,
Ooh, there it is. It's pretty.
yeah, I mean, I
Golden,
like
golden red.
I really love Super Mario Brothers, so I actually will just play it through all the way on that. Absolutely.
I've never
Um,
beaten. Gosh, if I've, I wonder if I ever actually like, straight up beaten the original version of Mario Bros. I played it a ton as a kid, and then I beat that Game Boy Color version. I don't know if I ever beat the original, like without skipping through pipes and everything. And I've
right.
certainly have never beaten the lost levels, so maybe that's something to plug away at.
Yeah, I like Super Mario Brothers 2, the Japanese version, but the Lost Levels remake
Yeah,
is actually more palatable. It actually is easier to play and more fun. But whatever. Both are actually a pain in the ass. They're like just trolls of a video game.
Mhm. Sure.
Um, from our coworker Megan Pidell, she asks, "Do I really need a new TV to experience the full PS5 experience, or is my fiance lying?" Um,
Well, what TV does she have?
my guess here is the fiance's like kind of like bending the truth a little bit here, where like, okay, you do need a new TV to take full advantage of these consoles. Usually, almost everyone's going to need a new TV eventually to get 4K 120,
Mm,
but I don't think 4K 120 is a like it's not a necessity to get to enjoy these consoles. If you're someone who's like, I'm not going to spend the $500 to get a PS5 until I spend, the $1,200 to get that new TV. I don't think you need to think about it that way. You can get the PS5, play it on your current TV just fine for years, and then when you're ready, and there's a lot of options for an HDMI 2.1 TV, which is like the key feature you should look for if you are going to buy a TV. Make sure it has HDMI 2.1, HDMI 2.1, and then work backward about whether or not it's a good set from there. It probably is right now if it has HDMI 2.1, but just play it on your current TV. The games are going to be fine. They're going to look great. You're going to get the dual sense on Xbox, Series X. You'll get all the quality of life features that make it a much better console compared to Xbox One.
mm.
Um,
I'm with the fiance. Upgrade, upgrade. Get Forget this. 8Ks,
yeah, get the 8K
9Ks,
TV. Yeah.
10Ks.
Moving on. This is from. Oh no, we need more info about Mass Effect. Anything. Talk to the Electronic Arts Entertainment
Yeah, that's
Corporation.
a real game now.
Yeah, go ask them. They'll. I mean, what else do you want to know? I guess everything. You want all the details. I get it. I'm not gonna like spoil their marketing plan now that they've got it out there and they're talking about it. There's no point to that. Uh, any chance of a new rock band? I answered that one. I don't know. No, you came back before I answered that. I doubt it. Plastic Instruments
Mm.
are done.
Yeah, well, it's funny, right? Because like we all think like the peripheral market, but there's that Mario Kart thing selling pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Ring Fit Adventure's doing well, though. Labo didn't exactly set the world on fire, but still. But yeah, I don't know. That was such a zeitgeist for a bit. That was a star that burned so bright, and I mean, they already did try to bring it back. There was a Rock Band 4 that nobody really seemed to care about. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
How does Final Fantasy VII Remake run on the PlayStation 5? Have you tried that one?
Yeah, I did. It was a little awkward for me because I had some screwiness when I was transferring things, and not all my save files uploaded, and then my like PlayStation 4 freaked out, and I had to like reboot it when I was trying to capture stuff off it. So I lost my like complete save file on Final Fantasy 7. But I started a new game, and it's one of these hard things. Like it looked good. I would have to almost see it, compared to the PlayStation 4 version because that game looked very good on a PlayStation
Yeah.
4 still. Like I'm sure it looks better, but
Yeah. I,
I don't think it's like, oh, you should go play through that game again. If you liked it and haven't beaten it for some reason, then yeah, continue it on PlayStation 5. I wouldn't buy a PlayStation 5 just so that you can get some performance boost out of Final Fantasy 7.
think after I beat Spider-Man, I will go back. Miles Morales, I will go back and finish Final Fantasy VII Remake on the
So good.
PS5. That'll be cool.
It is. I mean, it's a great game. You should play it and
No,
yeah.
yeah, I was enjoying it. I was having a good time with it. It was definitely like the Final Fantasy game that I had been enjoying the most, since Final Fantasy VI, which is my favorite one, even though I never even finished that one. So, um, All right. I think let's just do one or two more questions, and we'll go on to the games we've been playing. From Harry Barnes, how much do you regret doing the summer game mess, and when is next year starting? So, I don't regret it necessarily. It was fun. It was a good time.
Kinda
It like
raised your profile quite a bit,
raised
to
my
be
profile.
honest.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, and that
I
was
got to
cool.
ride those coattails, so I'm super glad you did it.
um, and, there wasn't like any like blowback or anything. There wasn't any real problems. I guess like there's some companies that are like this Jeff guy now a little bit, but that's
Mm,
whatever. That was always going to happen, whether yeah. Um, but honestly, I wasn't sure like how to like keep it going at a certain point. Like, the events were going to stop because they stopped like the replacement E3 thing, and now we're in this period where like video games are just coming out. So like, how do I keep that momentum going, like for raising my profile? And it's been hard like figuring out like what that should look like, or even if I should put the effort into it. But I do think depending on what happens with E3 next year, there might be some value in that in trying to do something again next year. Honestly, maybe it'll start around the Game Awards if I can kind of get some.
oh
If I get
god.
any scoops from that, maybe I'll start it up around there. We'll see. We'll
I
have
don't
to
even
wait and
think
see.
about no game awards right now.
I know that is one of the other questions, but I'll just ask the person that asked that also asked this: is Jeff Keighley attractive, Mike? I mean, I know the answer. I was just want to see if you do.
He's not unattractive, like,
Yeah, he's a
he's
handsome. He
he's
looks
a
like he
gr
has money, so he's
he
handsome. He's
he has young uncle energy.
yeah, okay. Yes, he has youth minister powers. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, totally. Uh, Last question. With the very high Game Pass attach rate of 70% on the new Xbox systems, do you think this emboldens Microsoft to invest further? I haven't heard that rate. I guess has that been out there? I've
Yeah,
been busy this
I
week,
don't
so
know. I don't know.
if that's real, yeah, absolutely. Like that's like huge. Like of course that they're gonna keep investing in that stuff. I think it's successful kind of no matter what. I do imagine it's gonna keep growing. I imagine every new Xbox that is sold, it does seem like Game Pass is gonna be one of the reasons to get it. So why wouldn't you subscribe to it? And that's going to just help it keep continuing to blow up. So yeah, I expect them to. They've already invested a lot, like $7.5 billion in Bethesda is a lot of money. But I'm sure that the reasons they had to do that still exist, and they'll probably make a few more moves before it's all said and done. So yeah. All right, Mike. Let's see. What games have we been playing?
Gosh, a lot.
Yeah, I've just been dabbling in a few things here and there. I was trying to finish my review of the Ryzen chips, which are good, and I'm not going to talk about those because honestly, we're a little bit late to it anyhow. And if you want to read my review, I'll be posting it this weekend, I think. But they're good. They're good CPUs. So that means I've like when I had things running, when I had like a benchmark running, I would get into Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I'm really enjoying that. It seems like a very good Assassin's Creed game. Uh, do you have any interest in checking this out, or is there just too much other stuff?
No, I mean, I do, but almost the thing is I've played, like, 4 or 5 hours of this game through preview events, so, like, I've checked it out a bit, and I do wanna play more of it, but right now, because I'm a little familiar with it, I'm trying to at least see a bit of everything else right now, but, yeah, I've been hearing really good things. People really seem to like the end product there, and seems to be fun on the next gen systems.
Yeah. I think it's just there's a lot to do. There's all kinds of stuff. Like if you ever get bored of one thing, you just turn around, run a few hundred meters or whatever, and you'll find something else to do. And
Yeah,
it's
one of the
go ahead.
developers told me that it's like, they took some Breath of the Wild influence. Do you see that as a big Breath of the Wild fan? You getting
Yeah,
that flavor at all?
it's definitely still on the Ubisoft spectrum. It's not. It doesn't feel like suddenly like a Nintendo game. I wouldn't expect that to be the
Like, it's
case.
still a map game?
But it's still a map game. I think that one of the things that they did is they I when you go to the top of a tower and you synchronize, every single icon on the map doesn't fill in for sure.
Yes. Yeah, I like this in my demo a lot.
Right. And so instead you get like these points of interest that like show up as like a different color depending on what they are. And if you're in the mood for like a quest, you go towards I think it's like maybe gold or whatever. Or no, I think it's the blue. And if you're in the mood for like, oh, I just want to discover something cool on the map or maybe get some gold or level up my character, that will be like gold on the map. I think I can't remember for sure, but you just walk towards those points, and then on your way there, you're going to be discovering more stuff that just fills in your map naturally, and you'll see something that looks cool, and you want to go do that. And that stuff feels more like Breath of the Wild, not exactly like Breath of the Wild,
Sure.
but it feels more like that. And I
There's more
am
discovery happening, whereas,
yes,
like, in
but that more
as much
active
fun as
discovery
yeah, as
that you're a
much fun
part
as
of.
Odyssey is, you're not discovering things, you're running to things.
Yes, exactly. And this feels like I am going to run to a thing, and then on my way there, I am going to discover a lot between here and there, and I'm gonna feel like a participant in this world instead of just like there's been a bunch of stuff set up for me, and I'm gonna eventually just kind of go through these steps that the game is it's there isn't like a log on the side saying go check out the ghost of this guy and then go take him here like. You're figuring a lot of stuff out on your own, and that's kind of what is keeping me going in this game a lot of the times because the story is taking a while to like to let you loose on the world, and at a certain point I'm just gonna make the decision to not go do the next thing on this quest and just go explore what's here, and it lets you do that, and that's nice and that's cool, and I'm enjoying that a lot. So
All right, I
um
want it right now. What's your guess? Next setting, Assassin's Creed. Where are they going?
right, God, man, so the recent ones have been Egypt, Greece, and now they're doing the Vikings, the Nordic areas. I guess that also includes like Ireland and stuff. I think you can go to like Ireland and England. So yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be somewhere in Asia, right? It's got to. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna do Japan, but
Yeah,
I think Japan
see,
probably.
Japan's already been touched. I'm almost wondering if it's going to be more like Three Kingdoms, China, or something. I don't know. Maybe it's
Right.
too far back, but
No, I mean,
the super
I think that would be
safe.
a smarter move. Actually, I think Three Kingdoms China would be
Yeah.
a way better like use of their energy, because they're probably not going to, Ghost of Tsushima's got has really like nailed that so hard now. That it would be hard to compete with that. I think I think it would be fine,
Mhm.
but still,
Right.
I would
But
prefer China.
they've also barely. I don't think they've done much of anything with like Central or South America. Really, like you've had the
Right, that's a
Caribbean.
good point.
That's the closest thing to that. I feel like the really safe one that would be, I would it'd be interesting, but probably a boring choice would be like Roman Republic, right? Like we had like the
Right.
Renaissance Rome, but especially if you want to tie into like go to that it would be right in between Valhalla and Odyssey, right, timeline wise. So
I
I don't think they will. I could bet somebody there is pushing for it.
Yeah, I Christian in chat says, Ubisoft, please stay away from South America. Yeah, they don't have a really great track record whenever they deal with South America. But
No, right?
I think it would be cool if they did like Aztecs or something like that. If they, if they
Yeah,
kind
well,
of
that would be the only thing they would do that they would think they can market. I imagine is
yeah,
one of the Mesopotamian things.
yeah, that would be cool though.
It would be cool. It would be cool.
Yeah, but I think Japan's probably next.
I think
I still
China.
think
I'll say China. I
I hope
mean,
it's China,
yeah.
but I think it's Japan.
I, I mean, Japan would be good too, but it is almost. It does feel like a little late to the party now. I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's the risk of like having these games work the way they do, where it's like people expect Japan and it's there, but it gives another company the opportunity to step in and do that instead and kind of steal your your milkshake or whatever. Um, but
Milkshake.
drink your milkshake. You ever seen There Will Be Blood? I drink your milkshake. I put the straw on the ground and sucked up all your oil.
I have
You haven't
not, and
seen?
let's move on.
Okay,
No,
Mike,
they
what have you
don't.
been
There's no
playing?
singing animals in that song. In that movie, I mean, me, gosh. So Bug Snacks. I played all Bug Snacks, and I posted a review of that. I think like on Monday. That was. So if this is one of those things where I feel bad because like I like Bug Snacks, but I feel like a lot of people like it way more than I do, and I kind of just I don't get it in a way.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's a cute game. It's a fun game. It's not my issue with it's mostly a puzzle game. It's like it's almost kind of like Myst or Witness or one of those like you're on an
Huh.
island, you're solving a bunch of puzzle games,
Yeah.
kind of. But like the puzzles aren't that interesting. It's all about how do you capture this bug. And a lot of times the solutions are the same. Like there's a bug snacks who's on fire. Well, you got to get him to water. You have to get an ice bug snacks to tackle him, basically. There's a flying bug snacks. You have to use the tripwire to bring him down and stuff like that. And, there's sometimes more interesting variation than that to it. But nothing that really kind of racked my brain or gave me like a really satisfying challenge, I guess I would say. Like, I had issues with Witness too. And I know you really like that game, but I didn't have
I
any
did.
issues with like the puzzles. The puzzles were pretty satisfying to me, I thought. Whereas here, I'm like, yeah, this is okay.
Hmm. Okay. I'll have to give it a shot. I think you're not the only person to say the puzzles are pretty. Yeah, they're just. Yeah, I think that's what I've heard.
They're
And
fine.
to me,
Well,
that's
it's a
like
drum
okay.
games. The bug snacks themselves are great. If I was just rating it based on the bug snacks, just based on the fact that there's a spider made of French fries called a frieder, then it would be a 5 out of 5, right? Like
And
that's
honestly,
fantastic.
Mike, it feels like maybe you are journalistically compromised if you can't just rate this game on the fact that there's a spider that named whatever you said. I'm saying, but yeah,
The
I
frieder, frieder.
yes, okay, yeah, Friday, yeah, okay, that's super good actually, yeah.
It's good.
Um,
Yeah, like the
I
bug snacks are great.
I'm gonna play this game. I think it's on Epic Game Store on PC. I'm just gonna play it
It's not that game.
there.
It's also on PlayStation. It's a free PlayStation Plus game for
Oh,
all
that's right. So
PlayStation
if that
5
PS
users. Yeah.
if that PS5 shows up, I'll play it on there, I guess. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. But that yeah, I'm still gonna give it a try. Again, I'm a huge Octodad fan, so I'll try this people's next game. And it the story like I heard some talk that the story it finishes weird. There's like it's like a weird finale. Okay,
I
so
mean, yeah, it's a little bit of a weird film. I mean, gameplay wise, story wise, I mean, the whole thing's kind of weird. So I wasn't thrown for a big loop there. But yeah, like the very last thing you do is it almost becomes a bit more action focused all of a sudden, which is
huh.
kind of a strange fit. But yeah, it is. It is what it is, as they say.
I want to know about Sackboy. Tell me about Sackboy. Tell me
You
about the
don't know
Sackboy,
Sackboy.
Mike.
Oh God. Now I can't play this game with a straight face, and I can't answer your question with a straight face. Because remember PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, which I loved, but my brother was into it. He was playing online. He played some child, and this kid was destroying him. So my brother tried playing as Sackboy, and the kid's taunt to my brother, and this has devastated him. We still say it to each other to this day: "Is you don't know Sackboy."
Uh,
No, I don't know
in like a
why,
child
but
voice, right? You're playing it like it
yeah,
just
as a
sounded like,
child
oh, that would be
saying it to him, but
devastating.
like with all the venom, like not even venom, like with like sincerity.
Yeah. Like truly
So
like dismissing your brother as a human. Yeah.
you don't know Sackboy.
Oh
So
man.
yeah,
That's powerful.
so I still don't know Sackboy. I'll say straight up, the worst thing that could have happened in this game is the fact that Astro's Playroom is like also a launch title because Astro's
Yeah.
Playroom is better, it's prettier, it's a bit more imaginative. But Astro's Playroom is not a full size game, and this is. And you know what's weird? You know what this is really taking a ton of cues from is Super Mario 3D World specifically.
Huh.
Like the 1 to 4 players co-op, the world map is the same. It's kind of like, it's like linear levels and stuff like that. Now, the problem is that your moveset's not as good as in a Mario 3D platformer, right? You don't have all
Right.
the fun jumps and wall jumping and power-ups. But and it guys, this probably sounds like I hate this game, but I don't. It is still fun. And it is charming in a lot of good places. Some of the levels are really neat. Like, there was one level this came out of nowhere where Party Rockers is playing throughout it. Not Party Rockers, not no the song though Uptown Funk. Excuse me,
Okay.
I'm getting my
I'm
hit
like
cool songs
the
mixed up by about
LMFAO
5 years.
song. No,
Not
but you're
LMFAO,
okay.
the
Okay.
Bruno Mars one. Yeah, so Uptown, and it's like sync to it, almost like, and remember in Rayman Legends had levels like that. It was
Yeah.
kind of like that. So
I
and
gotta
like
say
that
now
was
I'm
really
disappointed
cool.
it's not LMFAO. I
Yeah,
almost prefer that. But
that would have been pretty. Maybe that's later in the game. I don't know.
okay, yeah,
So
good
like
point.
that was pretty cool. Yeah,
Huh.
but and like there's some good animation work. I don't mind that there's none of like the level creation stuff that you have in Little Big Planet because I that never interested me very much. Anyways, I would always just go on YouTube and like see somebody like I remade Mario 1-1 in Sackboy or Little Big Planet. I'd be like, okay, cool. I made a calculator in Little Big Planet too. Wow, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Fucking
So
nerd.
I'm fine
Yeah.
just I'm fine just playing. Yeah, I'm fine just playing the game, and it is a good game. It is. I think if you have multiple people, I think it's even more fun. Like I was playing 2 players with my brother a bit ago, and there's like a couple levels that are straight up like you need at least 2 people to play this, and like that's actually even better because they can actually make puzzles based around that. But most of the game like has to be designed if you just have one person.
Yeah, that I guess I didn't realize it was gonna be taking that much from Super Mario 3D World. And
A
like
lot from
the
that.
The multiplayer works. You're saying it works well. You had a good time playing with your
Yeah,
brother. Huh,
yeah, it worked really well. I mean,
cool.
again, it's like 3D World, right? Just have
Yeah.
multiple people running, man.
Um. So you have another PS5 launch game that you're going to talk about, Demon Souls. I guess talk about that game, and then can you like rank the PS5 launch
Oh,
games so far?
yes, I can. Yeah, Demon Souls. Well, I beat like the first major boss. I'm a little bit past that, but yeah, man, this is pretty strong stuff right now. It looks really good.
Ooh.
Everything except for maybe like the character faces. Faces look a little weird in this game. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just me. But and I thought that before, like in performance mode, like you get that 60 frames per second, and it still like looks absolutely stunning, and just really, even though it's like a dark game, the colors are really nice. They pop where they should. Like it's not just like all gray or all blue or anything like that. And it's a Souls game, right? Like you have that satisfying loop of farming souls, making progress, being scared if maybe you should head back while you can, and all that stuff. So yeah, if you like these kind of games, I think this is a pretty easy pickup. So ranking, I think it's hard between Astrobot and our Astro's Playroom and Miles Morales because if Astro was a full length game, that would maybe be number one.
Right.
Like I every second of that, I absolutely loved it. But it is pretty short. Miles Morales I also really loved, and it is closer to a full length game. It is a full length game, really. So I'd probably put Miles first, then Astro, then Demon Souls, and then the Sackboy, who
Hmm.
I know.
Who you do know now? Okay. Hmm.
I do know him, and then I'll put Bugsnax at 5 if we want to throw that in there.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think that sounds about right to me. I think you're. I mean, I'm not surprised. Like the Astrobot for the PSVR, like people swear by that game,
Oh,
call it their
it's
game of the year,
fantastic!
game of
Yeah,
the generation. Uh, and so yeah, that team coming and doing this with PS5 and really nailing all the features of
yeah.
the PS5.
I have a
It's
fun
the game I'm going to
interview.
play first. I'm going to play that game
Oh,
first, no matter
it's
what.
everybody. It's made to be that. It's made to
Right.
be like your first game. I actually had an interview with the producer of that game, uh, and that was pretty interesting just to learn how it was created and how they were on there pretty early on, like to kind of make this sort of showpiece for the controller and at first it was like they're making just a bunch of tech demos, and instead of doing a mini game collection, they wanted to make something that was more like a full on 3D platformer. It was cool. So you should look for that story on GamesBeat.com.
Yeah, awesome. I will look forward to that because I'm interested in that game quite a bit. I am really looking forward to finally playing that. So
And I hope
yeah.
it gets like a full blown, like full length sequel, really.
Mhm. Um,
That'd be fantastic.
but I really want to play Yakuza Like a Dragon because from what I've played so far, I've loved it. I think I really enjoy that game quite a bit. You are
Mhm.
starting to play more of it. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I am enjoying. What's weird is it's I don't know if slow is the word, but it is very story focused the first
Yeah.
few hours or so. Like even still to where I'm playing, like there's been nothing like grinding. There's like a handful of fights every now and again, but the story is very good. It's actually
Right.
pretty well done. It seems pretty interesting, so I don't really mind that. And when I do get the combat, like even though obviously I haven't been able to like do too much with it, there's a lot of potential there. Like it looks super cool. It is fun. It's really seamless. There's a nice flow to it. So yeah, it's one I'm really excited to play more of. It's weird for me because I've never played maybe more than 2 minutes of a Yakuza game before. I don't know why. It seems like that would be something I'd be into. Big weeb Sega franchise, right?
Hmm.
But just didn't do it. But yeah, I'm digging this so far, and it's another one that sure it's out for last gen systems, but you're probably gonna be happier playing on next gen.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you? Are you playing on Xbox? Are you playing on?
Xbox
Okay.
Series X.
Awesome. Yeah. That's I think it's one I want to try to get to before Game of the Year because I think even the story like it could be something that we talk about for that. But I enjoyed the combat. I really think they put a lot of style into it. I was the side quests were really good. Like, it seems like the kind of people you deal with. There's like people struggling in the society, and I think that seems to be the theme of the game, and I find that fascinating. So I want to give it a shot. Um, but I mean, let's talk about Mike Minotti's 2020 Game of the Year.
Kingdom Hearts, which God, I can't remember each time if it's Memory of Melody or Melody of Memory. It's
You
one
wrote
of those
here
two names.
you've written Memory of Melody. Now, did you
Yeah,
write
that was
that and
the
you weren't
one.
sure?
Yeah, I
Okay,
had no
it's
idea.
coin flip. Okay, 50-50.
I don't
Yeah.
know what it's called. But I don't.
You could just
But
call
I
it Kingdom Hearts Mom. Kingdom Hearts Mom. Just
oh,
go
there
with
you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
KM Mom. Oh, I loved it. I think it's so good. I can't like I started it last night. I'm like, all right. I was almost like dismissive of it for some reason, even though I love Kingdom Hearts and I love rhythm games. I was like, this is coming out now. Who cares about this right now with like the new systems and
Like, yeah,
everything?
it's like self-preservation at a certain point. Like you like those things, but it's like there's so much happening. You gotta like try to save your brain, like your
Mhm.
brain bandwidth a little bit. You'll be like, I don't care about that. And of course you play and you're like, oh no, I love this shit. This is my shit. Oh
Yeah,
god damn it.
it's so yeah, and it's like I'm just playing the PlayStation 4 version on PlayStation 5, and it's running really well. And Kingdom Hearts has some good music. Man. Yoko Shimura, that is a good composer. Like these songs, there's like songs here that like I've probably heard a million times playing the game, but like I haven't really paid attention to them. And there's like just little things like, oh, this is good. Like, oh, they're playing a little bit of this other melody in here too. Ooh, there's like leitmotifs and stuff. Ooh, like
Ooh.
getting excited. And if you play theater rhythm, it's a bit like that, where like there's almost like, like a combat flow to how you do the music, and this actually captures that better than theater rhythm ever did. So like that's
Let,
exciting. It's just
let's say
fun.
I've never played Theater Rhythm. What is the gameplay like? Is it like Elite Beat Agents? Is it like DDR? Like what is it?
It's probably more like Elite Beat Agents, but instead of just like circles and closing on a note, you have like your party member going down a path, and you kind of see enemies coming. So you're sort of timing your rhythm button presses to like attack the enemies. Is
Okay.
That's the basic
Huh.
of it. Yeah, and there's other stuff here like you're jumping to avoid attacks. So you have to jump up and attack certain people, or and stuff like that. And it all works together pretty nicely. It's a very good flow.
Hmm. I don't have any real affection for Kingdom Hearts,
Yeah,
so
you should not. Don't worry about it. It's probably
thank
not
you.
for
All
you.
right.
You
That's what I was looking for.
watch a YouTube video someday. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't.
okay.
Don't worry, Jeff. You don't need to play this.
Yeah,
But
it's
if
yeah,
you
cool.
like
What
Kingdom,
wonderful.
it is like if you like Kingdom Hearts, like yeah, get this. It's super fun. It's yeah. I mean, it's a little like I from what I've been hearing, like they've been trying to promote like there's new story content in this, and it sounds like what is there is pretty insignificant. So for some reason you don't like rhythm games and you love Kingdom Hearts and you're like anxious about missing out on like the next big story beat, you'll be fine. I think you can go look on a Wikipedia later and find out what they say.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm ready to go play some games. I'm ready to enjoy. I've
Yeah.
been so busy with doing other stuff this week. I'm like I'm gonna do that for a little bit, and then it's gonna get busy again. But and then Thanksgiving. I'm gonna pick like one
Oh,
game
wow.
and play that all Thanksgiving, like that entire weekend. I think so.
Ooh, what's it gonna be? It's gonna
I don't
be
know
Final
yet.
Fantasy. It's gonna be Yakuza. You're not allowed to do that until you beat Ori.
Yeah,
What was
that
it you
sounds good.
got mad at me for? Oh, that's right. I told you I didn't like SteamWorld Dig too.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit. I can't believe
I'm
you.
sorry.
How do you
I
not?
didn't
That's
dislike it.
so good.
I don't know.
You're the
I wasn't
first person
glad.
I've ever heard not
I
like that
know
game.
everyone loves that game. And I love Metroidvanias. And I'm just like, all right, we're digging. There was, you know what?
Garbage.
There's just not enough. I think what I like about Metroidvanias is like platforming and action, and there's not necessarily a ton of that. This is exploration. This is like mostly
But
about that exploration aspect.
you
What you like?
unlock other abilities eventually and
I
stuff like that.
guess.
I'll play that game
Yeah.
again. I should play that game. I'll just play it again. You
All
don't have
right.
to play it. I'll just play it a second
Okay.
time.
Oh my goodness. I have a lot of Dragon Quest games to play through now, so I'm not getting back to it. I'll be busy.
No, that's yeah, whatever.
Oh my!
You're
I have so many of my real life friends, like not losers like you on the internet, are playing Hades now. I'm tempted to get back to it because like they're starting to compete each other with like what heat they beat it at. I'm
oh
like, God
wow.
damn it! Yeah,
Wow,
I'm like,
okay, yeah.
man.
Man,
And my friends are like,
that's the real it's a real deal then. They're like really getting into it. I didn't think it would be like
Hades is
that.
doing, they're into it. I'm like, I brought this up before, but I'm always like, so I'm sorry I'm prolonging this. You sounded like you
No.
wanted to go, but I had this one
No,
thought.
no, please. No,
Like,
I was gonna bring up another topic too. So yeah, go ahead.
like, what happens to Supergiant Games when Hades is a giant hit? Are they
Right.
millionaires now? I may have even asked this
Oh,
before, but
yeah, no,
what's that
they
happen?
are. Yeah, the way it's selling on Switch, yes, they are. Yeah, I think so.
Man,
Yes. Because that
that's
thing's
incredible.
like been number one on Switch for like weeks, right? And you
Mhm.
don't get into that spot and unless you're selling a lot. So yeah, they're making a lot of money. And that thing, did it come out on like the other consoles yet? Like it hasn't even launched on like
No,
Xbox or
it's
PlayStation
just a
yet,
Switch and PC right now, I think,
right?
yeah.
And then eventually it's gonna get a mobile version eventually, just like you know what you call it did. It's one of my favorite games, and I would keep forgetting the title. But what? Yeah, like
Bastion.
they're gonna make a lot of money um on those things, but they're making a ton on Switch right now. It's just gonna
Mhm,
be and it's like I don't think it's like even done. I'm sure it's like it probably has peaked, but it's gonna continue selling like through the holidays. Um,
mhm.
it's gonna get a big
Well, they
bump
haven't
like
even
during Game of the
they don't
Year when
right,
when
they
it
haven't
shows
released
up
any
on like a lot of
DLC yet,
lists. Yeah,
so there's yeah, it's gonna I'll tell you, Game Awards, I feel like that whole structure is broken if Hades isn't at least nominated for Game of the Year, right?
yeah.
Like, come on.
Dead Cells was the name of the game I was trying to think of. That got a mobile version this
Oh, Dead
past
Cells,
year,
okay, right, yeah.
and it's selling very well on mobile as well.
Mhm,
Yeah, I think that like the people in charge of that studio are definitely millionaires. I think now because of that, but I think probably it's probably not a massive studio. So yeah, I think people are making a lot of money. Yeah, that's I know what you mean though. Like it's hard to tell like how that works for like a studio like that, but I think in this case, I think it's pretty safe to say yeah they're doing pretty good. Other thing I was
yeah.
going to bring up is like we recorded on Friday last week, and then Saturday happened, and that we knew that the election was over. How did your weekend go? Did you like? Was it like a nice Saturday? Did you enjoy yourself? Did I lose you again?
Oh, no, my weekend was stressful because, I mean, it was a petty thing where I told somebody I was gonna go to a wedding that Saturday.
Oh yeah, you
Because
told
like,
us
way
about
back,
this.
like, months ago, I was like, "Oh, we'll be fine now," and then, like, I'm like, I can't go to this wedding," so I had the horrible, like, fear of disappointing people by not
Sure.
going and telling them that, yeah, so no, I'm still just a social ball of anxiety, that was all.
Fair enough. I got like I was in a good mood as soon as Biden got the election got called for Biden, and I got out my Christmas tree and put that up and had like a really good day. It was nice.
Right. Well, I'm hopefully gonna put my tree up. Actually, right at the look, I got my new Hallmark ornaments. I got Mario and Luigi right there.
Yeah, I'm
I
like
got
legit jealous of these things. I'm totally gonna
I
order
got
them.
the Zelda,
Yeah.
gold cartridge. That's how you know that this stuff just like super like it's almost even though yeah obviously made in Japan it's like Americana now. Hallmark's making Christmas ornaments of them, right?
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's like part of our culture for sure, yeah. Um, Mike, let's get out of here. Let's go play some
Yes.
video games, put up Christmas trees, enjoy our weekend. Tell people where they can find you on the internet.
At Twitter on wait. My brain's broken. Tokoto on Twitter. GamesBeat.com. 90s Disney. Muppets 3D episode. Check it out.
It's a good episode. I listened to it while
Oh,
working on my Ryzen thing because I could like
thank you.
just benchmarking. So yeah, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I am Jeff Grubb on Twitter. I am if you're listening to this on the audio version, we do this on live on YouTube every Friday. You can listen along if you want. That's at youtube.com/jeffreygrubb/live. But you go ahead and just go there, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. It'll let you know when you go live. You can join us at chat. It's always a good time. Um, and then my other show, How Games Make Money. I just posted an episode this week with one of the people still working on Dead Cells at Evil Empire.
Oh,
He took over. He's the CEO of Evil Empire, which took over from Motion Twin, and is keeping that game going. And what that process was like switching from the co-op model to like a very much a traditional business, and what that was like. Yeah, it's a good episode. Give that a listen. But other than that, yeah, I'm ready to go enjoy my weekend. So we're gonna get out of here. Thank you to everybody for listening. Until we come back next week, have a good one. Take care of yourself and goodbye.
bye.